White pawn marches to d4. Black knight marches to f6. White knight marches to f3. Black pawn marches to e6. White pawn marches to e3. Black pawn marches to c5. White pawn marches to c4. Black pawn marches to d5. White knight marches to c3. Black pawn captures pawn at d4. White knight captures pawn at d4. Black knight marches to c6. White pawn captures pawn at d5. Black knight captures pawn at d5. White knight captures knight at c6. Black pawn captures knight at c6. White bishop marches to d2. Black bishop marches to e7. White queen marches to c2. Black kingside castling. White bishop marches to e2. Black rook moves sideways to b8. White pawn marches to a3. Black knight captures knight at c3. White bishop captures knight at c3. Black queen marches to b6. White bishop marches to d3. Black pawn marches to h6. White queen moves sideways to e2. Black rook moves sideways to d8. White rook moves sideways to d1. Black pawn marches to c5. White kingside castling. Black bishop marches to b7. White queen marches to g4. Black bishop retreats to f8. White bishop retreats to c2. Black rook captures rook at d1. White rook captures rook at d1. Black rook moves sideways to d8. White pawn marches to h4. Black rook captures rook at d1 and gives check. White queen captures rook at d1 and breaks check. Black queen moves sideways to c6. White pawn marches to f3. Black queen retreats to c7. White queen marches to d3. Black pawn marches to f5. White bishop marches to b3. Black queen moves sideways to f7. White queen marches to d8. Black bishop marches to d5. White bishop captures bishop at d5. Black pawn captures bishop at d5. White pawn marches to h5. Black king marches to h7. White king moves sideways to f1. Black pawn marches to f4. White pawn marches to e4. Black pawn marches to d4. White bishop retreats to d2. Black bishop marches to e7. White queen retreats to d5. Black queen captures queen at d5. White pawn captures queen at d5. Black bishop marches to d6. White pawn marches to b3. Black pawn marches to g6. White king marches to e2. Black pawn captures pawn at h5. White king marches to d3. Black king marches to g6. White king marches to e4. Black king marches to g5. White pawn marches to b4. Black pawn captures pawn at b4. White bishop captures pawn at b4. Black bishop retreats to c7. White bishop marches to e7 and gives check. Black resigns and white wins the game.